All right, everyone can see my screen. All right, just let me know quick. Yes, perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, first pair I want to break down with you guys. This is a pair actually I used to always trade, but I stopped for a while just because if you look on the higher time frames here, we just continuously kept going up and up and up and up and up and up. So I just wanted to wait for something like this to occur, this sell-off. So now there's just more data for me to go off of. You can see here, we printed some stuff over here, taking stuff on the left. So I just wanted to see this big sell-off, which took a long time, right? Because look, this happened in July, okay? And then it bottomed out in the end of September. So I just have this pair on my list because it's been looking good. Again, it's a pair actually I used to trade quite a bit, but yeah, I want to break down this long here, which was so clean. And I'll actually mention something funny, but yeah, okay, cool. So to begin with, let's go back to the 4 hour here. The daily even. Okay, so price takes the low out to the left here, this higher time frame low. Okay. Before we took it out, analyze this kind of price action we got here. You can see we respected the low to the left-hand side, right here. And went bullish. That tells me now we've got liquidity below here, this low that we got marked out. Okay, and ever since then we shorted, and then we went bullish, and then we continuously shorted below the low that we had marked out. Perfect. Okay, leaving us all these internal points here. Okay, we got a high up here, some trend line liquidity here, whatever it is, but we got a bunch of internal liquidity left. Okay, hop over to the 1 hour. I saw price bump its head into this high. Okay, as I always like to tell you guys, I like to see these highs and lows get respected and move away, because after we do that, okay, after we short from this high, I understand now that there's going to be liquidity above this high. Simple stuff. I want to see this because instead of me forcing longs over here and just being okay, cool, I'm gonna target this high. You have to understand that we can always anticipate that we can get false reactions from these highs and lows, especially because this was pretty sure, yeah, a liquidity block of some sort, right? So we could temporarily respect this whole area, which we did, okay, and go short. After we went short and we reacted like that, now I understand that we can target this. This is now a future area to target, okay, that we can buy into. Simple stuff. You just gotta be patient. Wait for the market to engineer that liquidity and then act accordingly. That's it, okay? So on the end of last week, big short on the Friday, I'm pretty sure, what was this? News? I don't know, whatever it is, big short to the downside, running into all these lows, these internal liquidity points here being one, and then finally another one being down here, okay? So go to the 15. Now, instead of always trying to find the bottom, like let's say price ran this low and you're trying to look for longs down here, or price tapped into something and you're trying to look for longs over here, you can always, it's not wrong to find the bottoms on the higher time frames, but the safer play would be instead of looking for longs in here, you wait for price to play out a little bit and you start looking for longs in here. Okay, like I said, sometimes there's going to be clean PA down at the higher time frame extreme, but the more confirmation, the more safer, the more easier way to go about it is there is a lot easier to pinpoint entries in this kind of price action opposed to being all the way down here. But nonetheless, what happened was we took out this low from the left-hand side, okay? And before we took it out, what did we do? Look how price took this low, comes back to the high, respects retail, shorts. So now you can see that we're starting to leave liquidity, right? Here. And if you look right above that, we got all this liquidity above that as well. So we're leaving liquidity to the upside, okay? Also, think about the intention behind this big sell-off. Retail is going to see this as a big move to the downside, okay? Possibly want to see continuations, or sorry, yeah, price retrace back to these areas, and they want to be looking for continuations, right? So realistically, it'd be this whole area would be a POI, I guess you could say, for retail. This would probably just be a higher time frame order block, whatever it is. But you can see when price taps into here, we get that sell-off to the downside, that false sell-off to the downside, okay? Now, this is when I'm starting to look for entries. I believe this was Tuesday, New York. Okay, let's hop onto the 5-minute. Keep in mind, we have that bullish bias Okay. Before we tap into this big POI, you can see price again just building liquidity. Okay. High, low, high. And then we get a retracement back into these areas. Retail looking to buy. Okay. We get that move higher, which now tells me we got liquidity below here. Oops. Boom. Okay. Perfect. Finally, we get that false sell-off. This was in London. Price comes below this low. Okay. And look how after we take the low out, we start building all this liquidity. Look at this price action we get right here. Okay. So for literally about, this is the 5-minute chart. So for about 4 hours. Okay. Understand this. Price trades within this little 20 pip range for 4 hours. This is going to completely do retail's heads in. Okay. There's going to be so much liquidity being built. People thinking, oh my God, there's sellers. Okay. People thinking there's a channel like this. This is a buy down here. Whatever it is, this is going to be so much liquidity being built in the market. Okay. And then we get a move to the upside, that false move up, clearing all this liquidity. This is now going to be a buy trap. So let me mark it out. Okay. We're going to get a trap there. Down at the extreme, this is also going to be an area that retail is going to be looking to buy from. We understand that we won't be trading from these areas. Okay. If you look to the left-hand side, don't forget, this is the low we had marked out where the liquidity is. You mark that out. Perfect. Now, how can we take advantage of this? How can we enter the market here? Okay. Couple things we always talk about is you can take that entry as soon as the liquidity is taken, as long as we got a liquidity block right below. And we do. Okay. The only problem in this scenario is if you take the entry as soon as this low is taken and you tuck your stop below the liquidity block, look at the size of that stop loss, right? It's 43 pips. And to be honest with you, UJ is very, very volatile right now. So honestly, you can look at UJ in the same way as you look at gold. That's how much this pair is moving right now, pip-wise at least. So 40 is not a whole lot, but it's still quite big. So what we can do is you want to either wait for confirmations in here, or you wait for price to come a little bit deeper into this area so you can shrink that stop loss a bit. Okay. So how I took it was, let me go back, sorry, to the 5-minute. Simply just wanted to see price come a little bit deeper. Okay. So wait for price to come in this imbalance. Okay. And this is where I'm taking my entry from. Stop loss again below the liquidity block. Look how easy this can be sometimes. That's it. That's all we need. Entry just like this, stop below the liquidity block. And where are we targeting? Okay. So as we know, this is liquidity block, right? Again, we always talk about this. We can anticipate price to stall at these areas, false reactions, respect it temporarily because there was no liquidity above this high. So look what price does. We stab into it once, retracement, stab into it again, retracement, and then we can start to get that continuation to the upside, okay? Where are we targeting and why? First point. Really nice target would be right here for at least a partial, okay? But then you'd want to look to the left-hand side, right? Don't forget, why did this high print? Why did we get that false move to the downside? Because this is where sellers are looking to be entering from. They've gotten their BOS here, okay? And that's because of this POI. So even maybe higher time frame wise, people are taking entries in these areas, okay? Maybe in here, maybe in here. Stop losses will be above this high, okay? And look how price eventually trickles all the way up, back up to this high here, okay? So managing wise, this would be a very good higher time frame target. Intraday target would be down here, about a 1 to 8, 1 to 9, however big your stop loss was. And then again, your higher time frame would be here, 340 pips mental on UJ right now. This would be your higher time frame. Once you hit this, you definitely got to be 80%, 90% out of the market. But these kind of trades here, guys, this is a pay you for the month kind of trade. Okay? If you're able to hold a decent amount of volume, like even if you close 50% here, 75% here, that's still very good, right? If you risked, let's take a look, 1% on this trade, okay, you close 50% here at this high, that's 4.5% you've already bagged, and you leave 50% to run to here. What is that? That's another 10%. Okay, this is a pay you for the month kind of trade. These are bangers. When you get a big move like this on the higher time frame occur, this just get ready for another big move right back up to the upside. But you got to wait for that lower time frame to align and stuff, right? But yeah, super, super, super clean. Something I want to pinpoint as well. Actually, sorry, before I delete these drawings, any questions about the entry, about the targets, anything? Let me know. No, no, no. Okay. Something I want to show you guys is, you know how we always talk about if daily low is taken out to daily high or weekly low to weekly high. I took a look at this actually this morning and I saw Marco, one sec, right after I delete the drawings and everything. Come on. Can I zoom in? David, you want to look at the higher time for the bigger picture here. Look at the sell-off we just spoke about here. Big sell-off to the downside, taking out low here, taking out low here. Okay, mitigating that liquidity block. Now we're bullish. Okay, any reactions in these areas are going to be false. Maybe you get a reaction in this area, false. Maybe we get a reaction in this area, false. Okay. Okay, zoom out. Understand, we have a bullish scenario here. Of course. That's just a classic. We've taken out lows, sellers induced in the market. Okay, and we're trading into this high. Okay, perfect. Yeah, something I wanted to point out as well. We always talk about like weekly low to weekly high and stuff. Check this out. So could be happening. I just checked on the monthly because it is a new month, right? So it's cool to check the monthly highs and lows. Sometimes you only gotta check once a month. But look, we took out this low from the left. Okay, before we took it out, look at this. So monthly low taken, took out the liquidity. Now can we see monthly high taken, right? So take a look at this. Like if you guys understand, if you're able to find a trade, let's make sure these are visible. And remember, we always talk about too, the market is fractal, right? So if you're able to find a trade somewhere in this price action and you have the confidence to leave a runner all the way up there, think about that. This is a 900 pip range. 900 pip range, right? So if you find an intraday position, you partial at an intraday target, you partial at a higher time frame target, you leave that runner to run 5, 6, 700 pips. Think about that, right? So that right there is you check these higher time frame candles sometimes. That right there gives you the confidence that we can run up to this monthly high. And you can see also, like you align it with our system, this area has been respected, right? So we've got liquidity above this high, a nice imbalance right above it. So it's definitely possible, right? But you align it all. Look, if you go to the weekly, look what happens here. Always happens over and over. We take the weekly low. Look at that. We got a liquidity block down here. If you're able to take this entry here, let's mark it out. Take an entry below that weekly low, you hold it to weekly high. Think about that. It's crazy. And even just this weekly range. Weekly low to weekly high, 450 pips, right? So you use our system and then you zoom out and use these higher time frame candles as well sometimes. We always talk about, like I said, and it goes down all the way to like the 4 hour, the 1 hour, whatever it is. But it's just an added confluence to hold to these highs and lows, these targets. And then again, it always aligns with our system because think about it. This is all liquidity as well, like we just spoke about, right? All of that. But mental, right? Like think about the entry that we just spoke about on the write down. the entry here. If you're able to take that entry right here, okay, stop loss goes below. Look at the targets you got. You got the high, like we spoke about, and then that monthly high all the way up here as well that we're probably going to run all the way to. Mental. Like this is when you can have some crazy, crazy gains. That's why it's nice to leave those runners when that higher time frame tells you there's a possibility of a swing coming, right? But it's crazy. It was cool to see because I know it's the new month, so I looked at the new monthly candle to see what's going on. But yeah, I do believe UJ will see this high. Okay. But we've been flying. Okay. Don't be surprised if we get some sort of false reaction down, whatever it is. We just need more price action as of right now. But eventually I do believe we're gonna come and take this guy out. Okay. But yeah, clean, clean, super, super clean. This is a trade of the month kind of trade things on UJ. Perfect. Let's go over you took a long on gold, I believe. Oh my God, I marked this out earlier in the day. Look at that. Look at this. I just marked this earlier. Nice. Um, exact trade. Nice, brother. Perfect. Crazy. Yeah, look at this internal liquidity we left here. All done on purpose, right? Big move up here. Low to high. Why? To induce buyers. Okay. We understand that's going to be a trap now. Market builds liquidity here. We get a false move up. This is a false BOS. This is going to be trap. Cool. And then we get that run on that internal liquidity here. And we've got a nice reaction up. Now, whether we're going to take this out and continue selling off, who knows? But at least you got liquidity that's taken and you got liquidity to target, which is the most important part, right? Liquidity being targeting right here. Okay. So a good target. But yeah, clean in and out kind of trade. I am on the edge. Like I said, gold is trading so high right now. So these are just kind of in and out trades for me. So much more different than the scenario that we just talked about on UJ, right? When that higher time frame, everything's all aligned. But in a scenario like gold, when the higher time frame is just so high, and you're basically just trading intraday scenarios, you want to take what you can get, kind of thing. Okay, so you don't want to get too greedy, and try and predict the higher time frame when it's so high. Okay, and like the example is, we'll use UJ again. Look how high we just kept going up and up and up and up and up on UJ, right? Like it's hard to just pinpoint that top. So instead of pinpointing that top, let the market tell you when that top is in. Okay, and then you just ride the wave. Way easier, way more high probable. But yeah, that's what's happening on gold right now. Don't try and kill yourself and predict when the market is what's it called? Gonna print tops and bottoms, right? Especially on the higher time frames. But yeah, right now we've got liquidity on both sides. We've respected this high multiple times here, but definitely could run bullish. Not impossible. Exact trade waited whole week just for this move, patient pace. That's so true. And that's where people screw up the most, right? Is they can't wait days for a trade. But little do they know, 1 to 3 trades and 3 on the high side is all you need, right? Like that UJ trade I just showed you guys. You take that 1 trade on that Tuesday, and you can kick your feet up the whole week. Okay, it's all it takes sometimes. But yeah, gold. Let's take a look at. I know I sent this. What was this? Yeah, let's take a look. I sent this early in the week, right? Thursday, New York. I saw this liquidity block to the left-hand side, which gave a nice reaction. Boom. Okay. Why this area? This low that we had marked out. Look how many times we've been respecting this area. Okay. We've gone bullish here, taking out these highs, inducing buyers, trapping them. Okay. Since we've now taken out this low, what does that tell you? Sellers are induced back at the high. In coincidence, we respect it. Why do we respect it? We respected it to build liquidity at the highs now. Okay. And then we get this sell off back to the downside. Take out previous daily low, get a little false bullish move up, build even more liquidity to the upside. And then I believe this was news, 10 a.m. on Thursday. Yeah, it was. False sell off down, trapping buyers here, and running that low from the left hand side. So if I drag this all the way over, look at that. Anywhere below this low was a valid buy. Okay. Whether you want to target, here, let's put the buy tool on. Gonna drop. Thanks, Marco. No worries, brother. Talk soon. Stop always below the liquidity block. Just like this. Now, I believe this was news, so I mean, just for the sake of the analysis, let's say we could get in this trade. I mean, to be honest though, if it was, yeah, it was literally at 10 a.m. So very hard to get in a trade like this. But nonetheless, direction very clean, right? We build liquidity just for the market to actually just hunt it, right? So this could be a good partial point. Then eventually you want to be paying yourself even more up there, of course. All right, just like this. But I know, of course, guys, it's a hard, especially for the people that are trading challenges and fundeds. Getting involved in this kind of trade is not realistic, right? I want to keep things as realistic as possible, of course. As for where gold's going to be heading next, if I had to pinpoint it, I mean, okay, we'll start off. Let's see what the week ended up doing. So we ended up tapping that previous week's high. Okay, ended up going bullish daily wise, running this daily low. Okay, getting a nice reaction. Maybe run to this daily high. We're leaving all those equals, and then we have that structural high up here. Could come back and visit it. Let's go to the 4 hour. Big wick. So let's go to the 1 to dissect that. Perfect. Yeah, like we were just talking about, high being respected once, twice, and moved away both times. We got liquidity for sure up here. So I'll put my money on gold continuing bullish to these highs next. After that, well, we'll see. Gold be heading to honestly, who knows? With what's going on in the world too. I mean, I don't really look at fundamentals, but I mean, if it's gonna keep going bullish, right? There's like wars going on across the world. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it just continues going up too, whatever it is. But yeah, careful if you're a gold trader. In and outs, that's all we can do. Now, euro. I sent this in the forecast, but this could be looking good for a big bullish move back up. Okay, let's clear this up and take a look at the higher time frames. Okay, we've talked about this so many times because it's the higher time frames, but because it takes so long to play out. But I do want to see this high getting taken. Okay, and we've now just sold off from that high, telling me we got liquidity up here now. Okay, any retail. Let's make sure these are visible. Any retail traders seeing this as an area, as like an area of interest, a POI, right? They mark that out. What do they see this as now? This low getting taken out is now their BOS, right? So they think now, okay, when we get a pullback, maybe continuation here. Nope. Maybe up here, continuation. Nope. Maybe a little higher, continuation. Nope. And then just continue up to this high. So I am bullish on gold, but this is the higher time frames. Let's let the 4 hour, the 1 hour, everything print its prices. I mean, sorry, more data so we can have price things to trade. As for the left, I do believe we'll take out most likely this as well. But like I said, I just need more price action right now. But I am gonna be looking for buys on the higher time frames on euro eventually. Not yet. Like I said, I just want to let price. No need to be finding a bottom on the higher time frames. Just let price develop and then be riding that wave back up to the highs. Okay. But yeah, all these buyers, all trapped. Okay. So I'm gonna be expecting a higher time frame move back up on euro for sure. Let's take a look actually what the monthly candle looks like. Okay. Okay, what we just spoke about on uh on UJ, monthly low taken. Maybe we see him run up to the monthly high. Who knows, right? But it could be a good swing, right? Because you understand if you've taken any entries here, you have this whole range that it could run up to, right? So monthly low to monthly high. So this would be September's low to high. We have about a 215, 210 to 215 pips. And then, of course, you have the high from the left-hand side. Okay, so also the first week it has taken the previous monthly low. Also the first week. What do you mean? I'm confused reading that. Also the first week it has taken the. Oh, are you saying ever since it's gone up? That's the first time a previous monthly low has been taken out? Zanjor, I was one of those buyers. Yeah, I posted that in the forecast. I don't want to be looking for nothing. So 3 weeks to go bullish. Yeah, could. Could. I mean, is the whole bullish range going to be filled in one single month? I don't know. Um, or maybe we range this month and November has that push up. Who knows? That's why we just got to wait. I meant in the first week it had sold. Yeah, yeah. I see what you mean. But yeah, that's what I got my eyes on right now in Euro. Okay. Like I wouldn't be surprised too is maybe we get a bullish move up right now, taking out internal. Okay. And then we get a sell off back down, clearing the low from the left hand side. Okay. And then maybe we get that bullish move. These are things that it can occur, right? So we just gotta act accordingly. That's all. That's what I got my eyes on right now with Euro. Um, okay, cool. When you guys got any questions? Any pairs you want to cover? Trades you took this week? Wins, losses? I'm trying to think if there was any more good trades. US 30 had a great buy this morning. Let's check that out. Start on the higher time frames here. So this week traded below last week's low. How to download phase 1 certificate. I'm not too sure which prop firm you did it with, but as soon as you get an email saying that you passed it, yeah. Oh, Alpha, yeah. When you get an email saying that you passed it, it should be on your dashboard or something somewhere. Okay, so no worries, brother. Traded below all these lows, lots of liquidity tucked below these lows. Wow, look at this. Before taking out this low we have marked out, price induces higher. Look, all this is going to be a trap. Okay, we understand that we won't be buying from these areas. So there's a false move up. Okay, and then we continue selling off down to the lows. Right here we get low, high, sell off, price respects this. That's going to be what? A trap. So we're building liquidity up here. So in the 5 minute. Oof. I don't know how to get in this. This would be a tough one. Ends up spiking the low once more, coming to the extreme. I wouldn't be looking for any entries here. But as for the buy, I'm assuming you're talking about here, right, Mateo? Liquidity block built, inducement low printed. Yeah. Inducement low stabbed, liquidity block. You got, let's take a look on the 1 minute to dissect. This would be a good partial point for sure. For sure. I take the New York shorts on Wednesday, targeting the monthly low. Which pair are you talking about? That high, also respect the high to left, so it could go higher for sure. For sure, for sure. I agree. Because the higher time frame tells me bullishness as well. Look at all these internal highs that we've left. So that could be definitely a good target as well. Okay, so you took on US 30. I taken the New York shots on Wednesday. So let's take a look at that. When's Wednesday? Whereabouts did you take it? If you can annotate. You take it in. Okay, here. Yeah, perfect. Not gonna lie, this PA is kind of ugly, but let's see what we can make sense of here. So, big trap here, right? Like the we were just talking about, big sell off to the downside here to induce sellers into the market. Let's see where it reacts to the left. This area. Let's go to 5. Okay, so we get a false reaction down. We want this high taken out now. Does it end up respecting this? Oh, wow. Is this where you took entries here? This liquidity block? I didn't even see this. Nice refined area. Yeah, that's really good. That's clean. Right above this inducement high into this liquidity block. So shorts can be taken like this. You could have kept it above the refined area or the higher time frame, whatever you're more comfortable with, no problem. And then you got beautiful target to the lows, right? Being, I mean, just look at the shit ton of liquidity we built here. Yeah, that's clean. Yeah, I had above the main high. Yeah, even that, like, you would have had even above the overall high, 1 to 4. That's clean as hell. And then if you had a refined one, obviously the RR gets a lot better, but sometimes it's just better to open that stop up a little bit. Higher hit rate, less stop losses. That's clean, brother. That's a clean trade. Good stuff. I like that, especially because this is the important part. I want everyone to understand is since we've taken out this high, okay, and then we've respected the lows, moved away. Easy sell into these lows. Easy. Okay, letting the market build that liquidity. Now you have that sell bias. Okay, now you can ride that wave, target those lows. I got more confidence when that build happened for sure. I agree. Right? As soon as this moves away, it's an easy sell all the way back down. I like that. Clean stuff. Clean sell, clean buy, back up. Let's see what happens. Any other trades, guys? Anyone else took this week? Oh yeah, I wanted to tell you guys. So I was in this UJ long. My payout date on one of the accounts was on Tuesday. And I'm honestly, I should have just held it to the next payout date. But Alpha has this thing where you have 2 payout dates. I think they in between 2 weeks, or is it a 14 days or whatever? So October 1st was one of mine. If I didn't want to get paid out that day, I would have to wait another like 14 days to the next payout date. And I was in this long here. Okay, and I closed here because I wanted to request my payout on October 1st. So it is what it is. I still bagged a good profit, but I could have held. And looking back, I should have just been patient and waited for the next payout date. But I was just, it is what it is. It's nice, honestly. Even not being in it, it's still nice to see these kind of trades play out so clean. But yeah, it is what it is. Doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world. Profit's profit. Can I ask something about liquidity block? Of course. What's up? Okay. When there is multiple liquidity blocks, which should follow? That's a very broad question. Simple thing, dude. Simple thing is understand this. you need to see a buildup in the market. Okay. And we always look at, there's many different forms. The one we use the most, the easiest one to identify is just structure. Okay. So we don't trade from this area. When the market respects this area, moves away, there's liquidity here. We've had a buildup of liquidity in the market. Okay. Now we want to see this low taken. Okay. After this low goes, you can look for bullish entries, but you need to ask yourself, what am I going to be targeting? So if the market just sells off like this, and there's no liquidity here, if we didn't respect anything to the left as well, then what liquidity do we have to target, right? All we have is a high up here that it's going to come back to. So when we run this, how can we take entries? If there is a liquidity block like this, you can take this buy and tuck your stop below this liquidity block. Okay. If there is, so in this scenario, there's no liquidity block to the left-hand side. So when price runs this low, let's say we built liquidity so we can actually go bullish. Boom. Take out this low. Look at this liquidity we got to target. Simple buy. Okay. But there's no liquidity block to the left-hand side. How can we take this entry? We have to wait for one to build, to form. So maybe we get something like this happen. We go bullish, we go bullish. Oh my God. And you're like, oh, I missed it. But then look, sells back off. Traps again. Building what? A liquidity block. And then we go bullish. And then we get, again, what do we need to wait for now? I'm actually going to leave the drawing like this. I'm going to ask you, what do we want to see now occur? Thank you, Adam. A buildup. That's it. We want to wait for a buildup to occur. This is in, exactly. You drew it out. That's all you want to do. Simple stuff. However the buildup happens, sometimes it's like this in the channel. Okay, and all this, you can see it as structure liquidity. You can see it as a trend line. However it is, we come back up into this high, induce higher. We have false reaction up here. Sell off. This is all buys. Exactly, this happens on gold longs. It's it. And this would be engineered liquidity. And then you have your higher time frame to target as well. Boom, buy. As long as not above that high. What do you mean? But this was high up here? Let me move this drawing. Yeah, so what can happen is if we take this high out, here, let me remove some of these drawings. If we take this high out, what can occur now is I want to see, look what happens. Another trap. So, buy. We need to have that level of liquidity built for us. Okay? Because since we've taken out this high here, I don't just want to see a pullback and a buy. But since we get high, low, and we induce higher once more, and then we respect something to the left-hand side, this is going to be false reaction. As we know, price comes down, traps buyers here, takes out that buildup we formed, mitigates liquidity block. This right here is buy entry. Stop going below the liquidity block, target back at the highs. Just like this. Understand? See, a lot of people make mistakes of, let me draw another drawing here. Gotta make sure I draw this perfectly. Okay, so we build liquidity here. Perfect. Oops. Okay. Move this over. We run the liquidity. Okay. Then we get a sharp reaction up. Boom. Take off this high. Now we want to see what? Buyers trapped. Okay. Price comes down. traps buyers. Okay. Now what happens is maybe price comes up here, respects the high, prints a low, then takes out this high. Right away, you guys are like, okay, we've taken out this high. I'm not buying no more. Remember, now we just need to see liquidity built again. Let's just say price does this. Moves away. Now we have another level of liquidity, right? Don't forget, we're in this whole bearish trap here, right? So again, we always talk about any reactions from these areas, they're just going to be false. So price comes back down. Maybe it comes down in like a sluggish manner. Comes to the low, maybe a little false reaction, and then boom, buy. That's a little bit too deep, but boom, buy. Okay, but this is what you need to see occur. What is this? This is a buildup. Buildup happens. We induce higher again. This is a trap, of course. So you want to wait for buys below this low. Understand? Perfect. Okay, guys, any other questions before we log off for the weekend? Let me know. All good. That's it, man. Thanks for your time. Of course. David, now you're drawing up every scenario possible. Just instead of drawing up every single scenario, understand the concepts behind it, the why. You need to see this occur, a buildup, some sort of buildup in the market. After that buildup occurs, you want to see a run on that. This is the run on liquidity. Okay, don't overthink it. Always ask yourself, where's the next level of liquidity? If you don't see liquidity, then there's nothing to do. Honestly, Wednesday's now SPY shows this question perfectly. If you want to show quick, let's check it out. Wednesday NOS buy. Oh. Yes, I drew this in the Discord. So where are we? There we are. Okay, so we run this level on liquidity. Okay. Buyers below all these lows. You can see we have false reaction here. Boom. Trap the buyers. Take that level of liquidity to the left-hand side. Cool. Let's go down to the 5 down here. Okay, perfect. So we have run this higher time frame low. We need to see liquidity built in the market, right? In order for us to take any sort of buys right now. Look what happens here. And this is so important. Price comes down to this low. Look what occurs. From this low, we go bullish. We take out highs here. This is the important part. Since we've taken out this highs now, we've built liquidity here. This is a trap. This is all going to be a trap. We want to see price below this low. And you have the liquidity block to help support it. And what do we have above? Remember, you always ask yourself, what are we going to be targeting, right? We're not just going to be pressing buy and not targeting anything. So we've engineered liquidity here. And then possibly we can run up here. Okay? But since we really haven't respected it, sure, maybe there's some sort of liquidity built in this area, but we haven't really tapped into it yet, right? So definitely want to be managing your position above this high because look where this is where price respected. But again, the important part is us building liquidity here below this low. Respected it here, respected here, respected here. And then last, that false reaction up, grabbing this, buy trap, and I believe, wow. Look at this. What do we have right above it? Coincidence. Trap sellers, tap liquidity block. Boom. All right. Okay, that's it for me. Sign off for the weekend. Next week, Monday. Finally, it's a full week back for me. This week has been sloppy because of the traveling and stuff like that. But yeah, next week is going to be back to normal schedule. So yeah, thank you, Marco, very much. Just no worries, brother. Cool guys. I will see you all back in the Discord Monday. Hope you all have a sick weekend. Take care, take care. Cheers. Have a great weekend, boys. You too, you too. Hope you guys have a sick weekend. And see you guys back back here on Monday. All right, have a good one. Peace. Take it easy, Mateo. We'll talk soon. Ciao, guys.